You're about to learn something fairly interesting that I only just recently learned about myself. I didn't know this, but the French museum, the Louvre, actually has been using 3DS's as audio guides in its Paris museum. And I'm like, what? Why? Of all of the devices you could possibly use as like the sort of audio tour that you're giving people, why on earth would you use a 3DS of all things? But basically, yeah, the Paris Museum is saying that a new system is taking place. But this is just a very, very fascinating thing to learn about, because sure enough, like, they could have used, like, you know, a Walkman or something else like that, but a 3DS of all things? Like, that's just, I don't know, man. But here are the details of basically the service in question. So it originally launched back in spring of 2012. The service allowed visitors to pay €6 to hire a Nintendo 3DS handheld during their visit. Exploring the museum, the bespoke app on the 3DS shows visitors a map and uses geolocation tracking to help them navigate the museum's numerous halls. I feel like phones might supplant, or rather really cheap Android phones could supplant using 3DS's at this point, but you never know. I was going to say really old iPhones, but I also feel like when it comes to iPhones, apps get outdated fairly quickly, and Apple is very excited to move forward to the next device. So they're very trigger happy with cutting off support for older devices and all things like that. So there is that element to it as well. It provides information on each piece in the gallery in the form of more than 30 hours of audio commentaries, images, and 3D models. So if you're going to be spending a whole day there, which I don't even know how long they would be open for, that is actually very interesting. But yeah, later this year, the app, which was developed by Nintendo and spearheaded by Shigeru Miyamoto, will no longer be made available to visitors. The new Nintendo 3DS console audio guides will go out of operation in September 2025 to be replaced by a new system. A statement of the official, I'm not even going to pronounce that, the Louvre website said. I'm pretty sure I'm even saying the Louvre wrong. But anyway, it's not clear whether this new system will be in collaboration with Nintendo, perhaps using Switch Lite handhelds instead, or something different entirely. Neither the Louvre nor Nintendo has announced anything. And knowing the fact that, this is also a Nintendo 3DS guide Louvre direct presentation that happened on the 27th of November 2013. Man, these guys at VGC have really done quite a bit of digging to find not only the fact that information of this thing exists, but the fact that, like, it's going out of service as well. Now, I don't know how to feel about that, largely because of the fact that this is an incredible use for a handheld I think I've ever seen, and something that I personally would never have thought of. So the fact that this was spearheaded at all as like an idea is just insane to think about. But yeah, basically in November 2013, Nintendo released a standalone version of the software on the 3DS eShop, and it was named the 3DS Guide Louvre. The software named Nintendo 3DS Guide Louvre allowed players to, I am butchering French pronunciation like it's nothing, but the French ruined English as well, so I'm going to keep going with it. Allowed players to explore the gallery and its works from home if they weren't able to visit the real thing in Paris. Why did I not download this? Hold on. Oh no, but the online services for the 3DS are down, so I can't download the app anymore. Oh man. I wonder if this is partly linked to the fact that, like, the 3DS eShop is now just completely down. Anyway, I've got emulation, so I could probably figure it out somewhere or another. But yeah, Nintendo was so proud of its association that it released a Nintendo Direct presentation of Foley, focused solely on the software, with Miyamoto and Satoru Iwata exploring the museum itself. The company also posted a lengthy Iwata Asks discussion with Miyamoto, in which it was revealed that Miyamoto wanted to add extra animations to give the Venus de Milo arms, for example, or have a soldier statue pull out a sword, but the Louvre wasn't keen on the idea. I love how Nintendo also tried to be a little bit more sort of creative with the whole idea, and the museum was like, "Nah, chief, I think we're good. I think we're good." But yeah, that's crazy though. Also, totally forgot that 3DS's had headphone jacks, because when I played on my 3DS, I never used a headphone jack. I always just had use the speakers and stuff like that. Though that does make me wonder, because it's a 3DS, did they also have like potential like uses of the 3D to try and make it seem like as if the art piece was coming out of the screen or something like that? I feel like that's what they were kind of referring to when they were talking about 3D models, was using the actual built-in 3D itself. I think give me a sec. Here we go. So like 30 hours of audio commentary, images, and 3D models. Now this could be taken one of two different ways. Either an interactive model that's made to look 3D in the actual console itself, or the fact that they were trying to use the stereoscopic 3D to make it seem like as if the art is coming out of the screen when you're looking at it straight on. So I feel like that could really go either way, but €6, that's actually not bad at all things considered, though keeping in mind this was back in 2012 when money wasn't so not ubiquitously like lacking in value, so to speak, and when things were significantly less what's the best way of putting this, not completely expensive all around. But yeah, so with all that being said, I hope you learned something interesting today. I did not know about this. I am glad I learned about this. I got to thank Chris Scullion for bringing it to our attention. The fact that this was a thing that existed and may have been in the brain spaces of people who watched the Nintendo Direct for this particular app, but just never really talked about it all that much beyond that point. This is just a fascinating bit of like Nintendo history I feel like people should talk about, because it's just this weird wacky thing that they did. And I suppose it's also a glaring reflection of where we are currently with Nintendo, basically hating on the fact that they are overpricing the Switch 2 and overpricing their games to the point where everyone else is now starting to follow suit, ideally Xbox, starting to actually price their games at $80 even though their games were never worth that price to begin with. But with all that being said, and not going down a negative rant or anything, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. Like the video you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 500 subs by the end of the year. And with all that being said though, watching till the end of the video is the best thing you can do, so I very much appreciate that. But with all that being said, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.